Three words that could change the entire world. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif stood up today and said, "Peace has never been this close as it is now." And then he confirmed something that no world leader had confirmed before. The United States and Iran have reached a final, agreed upon text of a peace deal. Final, agreed, text. Not almost done, not largely negotiated, not close to a deal. Final text. Pakistan's Prime Minister said, the US and Iran have reached a final, agreed upon text, and that Pakistan, which has taken the lead in mediation efforts, was working with the warring countries on next steps. And the signing ceremony, sources say PM Shehbaz is likely to fly to Geneva as early as Saturday, accompanied by a high-level delegation to attend the anticipated signing ceremony. English to Geneva, tomorrow. Signing ceremony. In the next 15 minutes, will show you exactly what is inside this deal, what Pakistan did to make it happen, what Israel thinks about it, and why this might be the most important diplomatic moment of the 21st century. Let's start with Pakistan, because the role this country played in ending this war is something that history books will write about for decades. When the war started on February 28th, every major world power tried to intervene. The United Nations, China, Russia, Turkey, Qatar, all of them tried to bring the US and Iran to the same table. All of them failed. Pakistan succeeded. And here is why Pakistan succeeded, where everyone else failed. Pakistan has a unique position in the world. It is a Muslim majority country, so Iran trusts it on religious and cultural grounds. It is a nuclear-armed state, so America respects its military capability and strategic importance. It has deep ties with Saudi Arabia, the Gulf's most powerful country, and it has a working relationship with China, which has influence over Iran's economic survival. Pakistan was the only country on earth that both Washington and Tehran trusted enough to sit in the same room. The Islamabad talks were held on April 11th and 12th, 2026, at the Islamabad Serena Hotel. US Vice President J.D. Vance met with Iranian counterparts, the senior-most diplomatic engagement between the two countries since 1979. Wikipedia's 1979, 47 years. The first time America and Iran sat across a table from each other, and it happened in Islamabad, Pakistan. But those April talks failed. The gap between the two sides was too wide. Iran wanted sanctions lifted first. America wanted Hormuz opened first. Both sides went home without a deal. And then Pakistan tried again, and again, and again. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said in a post on X, "Peace has never been this close as it is now." Those words did not come easily. They came after months of phone calls, secret meetings, back-channel negotiations, and Pakistan absorbing pressure from both sides simultaneously. Today, Pakistan delivered what the entire world could not. Now, let's talk about what is actually inside this deal, because the details matter enormously. The deal has the potential to remake the region and lead to lasting peace. According to US Vice President J.D. Vance, say to make the region. That is the language being used. So what does this deal actually contain? Based on everything that has been reported from multiple sources, here is what we know. First, Hormuz reopens. Iran will remove naval mines from the Strait of Hormuz within 30 days. Commercial shipping resumes. Oil flows again. The global economic crisis begins to reverse. Second, US lifts naval blockade. America's complete naval blockade of Iranian ports, which has been in place since the war began, gets lifted gradually as Iran complies with the deal terms. Third, sanctions relief. Iran gets access to some portion of its frozen assets, the billions of dollars that were locked up when the war started. This gives Iran the economic breathing room it needs to stabilize. Fourth, nuclear framework. This is the most critical and most contested part. The two sides are inching closer to a deal that would require Iran to turn its enriched uranium over to the US for 140 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium. If Iran actually hands this over, it is the biggest nuclear disarmament achievement since the end of the Cold War. Review Journal 5th 60-day review period. The deal does not solve everything permanently on day one. Both sides get 60 days to implement the initial terms, after which permanent negotiations begin on the longer-term framework. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson said on State Television that mediators were active, and the text of a deal was mostly finalized. Review Journal mostly finalized. From Iran's side, that is the closest Iran has come to publicly confirming this deal is real. Now let's talk about the country that is most nervous about this deal right now. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has said Israel is not a party to the deal being negotiated. He said in a statement Friday that he and Trump were in full agreement that Iran must not have nuclear weapons. Review Journal Israel is not a party to the deal. Netanyahu said it himself, which means the country that started this war alongside the United States has no seat at the table where the war is being ended. Think about what that means for Netanyahu politically. He went to war promising his people that Iran's nuclear threat would be eliminated permanently. Now a deal is being signed in Geneva without Israel's signature, and Netanyahu has no guarantee that every single one of his conditions has been met. Netanyahu has long been skeptical that a deal with Iran can be reached, and in recent weeks has grown increasingly concerned that the US may accept an agreement that, in Israel's view, would not be as hardline as they want or meet the objectives of the war. See, not hardline enough. That is Netanyahu's fear, that Trump, desperate for a deal because of oil prices and the global economy, accepted terms that leave Iran with the ability to rebuild its nuclear program in the future. And here is the explosive detail. A senior US administration official did not rule out future military action by Israel in Lebanon. CN future military action in Lebanon, even after the deal is signed. So the US-Iran deal gets signed in Geneva, but Israel keeps bombing Lebanon, and Iran has already warned. If Lebanon strikes continue, Iran resumes operations against Israel. The deal ends the US-Iran war, but it may not end the Israel-Iran war, and those are two very different things. Now let's talk about what this deal means for every single person watching this video, regardless of which country you live in. Oil prices. The moment this deal is signed and Hormuz reopens, oil prices will drop significantly. Analysts are predicting a drop of $15 to $25 per barrel within the first week. That means lower gas prices, lower transportation costs, lower prices on everything that gets shipped. Global economy. The World Bank cut its forecast for global economic growth, citing the fallout from the Iran war. When Hormuz reopens and oil flows again, those forecasts get revised upward. Stock markets around the world will rally. The economic damage of 3.5 months of war begins to heal. Encyclopedia Britannica Pakistan specifically. Pakistan brokered this deal, and Pakistan will benefit from it enormously, not just economically through low oil prices, but geopolitically. Pakistan just demonstrated that it is the indispensable mediator between the East and the West, between the Muslim world and America, between Iran and Israel. This moment elevates Pakistan's global standing in a way that nothing has in decades. America. Trump gets his deal. Oil prices drop. Gas prices fall. His approval ratings, which have been suffering because of the economic impact of the war, begin to recover. Going into the 2026 midterm elections, Trump can point to this deal as his greatest foreign policy achievement. Iran gets sanctions relief, gets access to frozen assets, gets the naval blockade lifted, and, critically, Iran's government survives. The Islamic Republic is still standing. Whatever territory and military capability was lost, the government itself was not overthrown. From Iran's perspective, that is actually a win, but before you celebrate, let me show you the 3 things that could still destroy this deal before the ink dries. Number 1. Iran's final approval. The US is moving forward with signing ceremony plans, but the deal still needs final approval from Iran. Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has not personally confirmed this deal. In Iran's political system, nothing is final until the supreme leader says it is final. If Khamenei rejects the text at the last moment, the signing ceremony collapses. ABC News number 2. Israel strikes Lebanon. Iran has warned repeatedly, if Israel continues striking Lebanon, Iran resumes military operations. Israel has not stopped striking Lebanon. If a major Israeli strike happens in Beirut in the next 24 hours, Iran uses it as justification to walk away from the signing table. Number 3. The nuclear material, the most explosive unresolved issue. US and Iranian officials have offered conflicting accounts of the tentative deal, and its precise terms remain unclear. If Iran's version of the deal does not include handing over enriched uranium, and America's version does, the two sides are not actually signing the same document, and that contradiction will explode immediately after signing. CM Watch These 3 Think.